are making one more trip back to the crib to grab another load of stuff, pick up the dogs and the dog figs, and hang out here. And then we'll be here for the night, and then we'll go back tomorrow and start cleaning the house and all that jazz. Seems like a pretty cool place. So we're gonna set up shop and yeah. That's it. Beautiful people. It is Tuesday, July 24th, 2017.
July 25th.
Oh, 25th.
2017.
What did I say? 2015. I just woke up. Like, I know it's like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock everywhere else, but yeah, Jeff, go ahead. My thoughts ain't together. It's too early.
So last night we attempted to boondock somewhere besides Walmart, but it was a little too far out of town and there was no cell service there, and we needed it for work this morning. So here we are at Walmart, and
This, that, and the other. Okay. And so, before I get to rambling, I'll just let him tell y'all what happened today.
so first off, it had nothing to do with speed.
No,
we missed a turn. We missed a turn, and we're looking for a place to turn around, and I judged poorly at a place to turn around. It was a circular place, but the gravel was soft, and it was a little bit of a steep downhill into it and back out of it, and, well, let's go ahead and look. So, you see here, our fifth wheel is not an off-road model whatsoever, and it's got really low clearance in the back. And if you combine that going downhill with the truck leveling out, and then this trying to level out 20 feet later, this is what happens. You bottom out. And when you bottom out, you break your fiberglass and you lose a J panel. This is really minor. This missing panel is probably the most minor of it. But it looks like when we get back to civilization, we might have to have some fiberglass work done to our trailer. No structural damage, but yep, it's a sad day. So, here we are, going to finish our drive. I just have to say that once it happened, we couldn't go forward because the angle of approach was too steep, and we could barely go backwards because the angle of approach was too steep, but Candace did a pretty good job of guiding us out, and we managed to get out
backward. He backed out because he couldn't go forward because it was too steep over there, and the trailer was scraping the ground going forward, so we end up backing it out.
Yeah. Thank God for four-wheel drive because it was loose gravel and I needed four-wheel drive to push it backwards, and she did a pretty good job of guiding me back, and we were able to hit it at a decent angle to get back out of it.
We just got pulled out, y'all. I should have guided from the beginning, but oh well. How you feeling, babe?
I'm feeling great. We're out.
Kim, how you feeling?
So, I don't really want to be that close to you, but whatever.
All right. Welcome back to another video with Tripping with the Smiths. This is a 5-year anniversary update video, y'all. 5 years on the road. No home base, no house. Well, we got a home base, but no house. We are full time as they come. And we're sitting in Key West, Florida, as you can see behind us. Palm trees, water, beautifulness, little slice of heaven, paradise. Okay, I'm gonna stop rambling. Take it away, babe.
Yeah, so we're in Key West. We're on the military base here, the military campground, which is a great benefit if you have access to it, because as you can see behind us, we are right on the water. In fact, we just got done taking our paddle boards across the road there and into the water and took the dogs paddle boarding. We went paddle boarding. We're going to do some lobstering here. So great benefit of military RV parks. And as Candace said, 5 years. Holy cow. we started doing this as just kind of a, hey, you know what? Let's travel for a little while and see what happens. Maybe we'll find some place we want to settle down in. And we originally planned on like a year, maybe a year. And here we are 5 years later, and we're talking this morning about the next 2 years. So apparently we're not quitting anytime soon.
No.
So 5-year anniversary. What have you learned in 5 years, Candace? Or what do you think about that other people need to know about 5 years of full timing?
One, be super flexible. Be, the word, it's not it is flexible, because a lot happens. And you just got to take it as it comes. And expectations, maybe. Lower
Maybe
your
expectation management?
Yeah, yes. Because it ain't going to be, and I think you've heard me say before, sunshine, rainbows, unicorns. It's not like that all the time. We full time. And I think a lot of people out here think that you just camping every day, having a good time. That's part of it, because you got the outdoors and the elements, but you really need to come back to the word flexible and take the punches as they come. That's what it is, because, and then I think that will help you segue into the whole rich.
Oh yeah, we'll get there.
Oh, but I think that kind of flows next for the next topic. But just really, because you never know what's going to happen, especially when you on the road traveling, when you're seated in your spot, everything is probably pretty cool, laid back, no issues. Sometimes stuff breaks.
Yeah, sometimes stuff breaks while you're here. Like right now, right?
Go ahead.
We left Pensacola a week and a half ago, thereabouts. Everything was perfect when we left Pensacola. And since we left Pensacola, our freshwater tank's been filling up on us and overflowing. So that tells us that there's probably a bad O-ring somewhere, and we're filling up our freshwater tank. Guess what? If pretty much my theory of RVing is that if something isn't broke, you just don't know that it's broke.
Yeah.
Because there's always something broke. So, you know, you see the beautiful water and view behind us, and that's what most people try to portray as RVing. And I don't want to get you down. It is like this sometimes, and it's wonderful, but along the way you got a little bit of adversity. Like on our way down here, we got kicked out of a park because they didn't like our tow vehicle. If you've been following us, you know we tow with an HDT or a heavy duty truck. This is semi.
Also known as a semi, aka.
So the park didn't like our semi. They just were not having it, and they said, you can't have your semi in the park regardless. That doesn't matter. You can stay here, but your semi cannot. So, you know, we had to move parks short notice, and that happens. And that's kind of one of the key points of full-time RVing is you got to be really flexible, and you got to roll with the punches, because you'll see everybody on Instagram and Facebook and wherever else you're seeing full-time RVers, they're going to post their best, right? They're going to post their highlights, their highlight reel, and you're like, oh my God, that is so awesome. I want a full-time RV right now. And then you truck on down the road and your tire blows out and it takes out everything and you're stuck on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Or you plug into an RV pedestal and the power doesn't work, and well, it's 90 degrees outside and 90% humidity and you have no AC. Or you get to an RV park and you can't fit in the site. Or there's any number of things that go freaking wrong.
Yeah.
And if you can't roll with the punches, then I really don't think full-time life is for you.
Yep.
If you're the type of person that's like, oh my God, everything has to be perfect all the time and go according to plan all the time, full-time life is probably going to be a little bit tough for you, because it just, stuff happens.
It's always an adventure.
Yeah.
All right, babe. We don't want to keep this
we don't want to really rain on your parade.
And the video super long, so let's move on.
So we started RVing back in 2016, 17, thereabouts.
Yes, it's 17.
17. So, and we bought a used RV, and we got
5 years.
Yep.
17.
And we got a good deal on the RV, and we liked the RV a whole bunch. But you know what? It wasn't our perfect RV, and odds are probably 99% of you, if you start doing this journey, you're not going to get your perfect RV the first time out. So buy used, buy relatively inexpensive. I know relatively inexpensive is a shifting target these days, but buy relatively inexpensive so that when you're ready to get rid of it, you don't get burned on it, right? If you go buy a new one, brand new, straight off the dealer, even if you order it,
It's gonna break.
it's probably not going to be the one you want. It's going to break just as much as the used
It'll
one.
be the one you want, but it's gonna break.
Well,
I bet. 'Cause
you'll learn after a year that this floor plan doesn't really work for us. We need a different floor plan.
Yeah. Once you live in it.
So after you've been in it for a while, you'll figure out what you like and what you don't like, and that's going to give you the insight into buying what you really want, which is kind of how we ended up where we're at. We did another floor plan for a while. We figured out that we really liked that floor plan, but we wanted a separate office. So we bought an RV that has almost the same exact floor plan as the first one with an office added on.
Can
and
I
that office is a
interject?
garage.
We should have known that right off the bat because we borrowed a toy hauler.
We should have.
And we was in an office. Well, we made the toy hauler our office then. So.
But that toy hauler sucked for kitchen space and for living space. It had good toy hauler space, but crappy living space.
Yep.
So we managed to research and find a toy hauler that had really good living space. In fact, to be quite honest, our kitchen in this toy hauler is bigger than the average 1 or 2 bedroom apartment's kitchen.
Yeah.
It's actually quite big. So just know that that first rig is probably not going to be the right one for you. And if you bought it new, you're going to lose 30% of its value the minute you drive off the street, the minute you drive off the lot. So you're going to be upside down in it unless you paid cash for it. So buy used for your first rig. Know that it's going to be the one that's got training wheels on it, and you're probably going to end up not liking it because it's not going to be perfect for you, and you'll probably break it once or twice or 3 or 4 times and run it into stuff. Like our first one, we dragged on the ground and ripped the rear cap almost all the way off, and we did some other damage to it, and it was our learning fifth wheel. This one that we've got right now, we have not damaged. A shop that worked on it damaged it, but we haven't damaged it, and we're doing much better on it. So just know that your first RV is it's kind of like your training wheels RV. You're going to figure things out on it. And that kind of segues into the next thing that we kind of been alluding to, and I don't want to rain on your parade, but it happens. And I was just talking to another full-timer this morning about the fact that if you're not handy, this is going to be a rough life for you because you're just going to pay the RV repairman a lot of money if you can get the RV repairman out to you. Use the owners groups, use YouTube, and
Owners
figure
groups.
out.
Owners groups on Facebook.
Yep, figure
clear.
out how to fix this stuff yourself because it's going to be way cheaper and you don't have to wait weeks and weeks for a dealership to fix stuff. If you're a full-timer, you can't drop your trailer off at a dealership and say, hey, you know what, call me when it's ready. Because they'll call you 6 months from now and you'll be figuring out where to live in that 6 months. So you need to, there's going to be every owner's group, be it Tiffin, Newmar, DRV, Cedar Creek, every owner's group is going to have a preferred list of dealers that cater to full-timers. And by catering to full-timers, it means that you drop your trailer off on Monday and you get it back on Wednesday with everything fixed, instead of dropping it off at the dealer and telling them to kind of call me when it's ready, and they'll call you back in 3 months and say, oh yeah, we just ordered the parts. And 3 months later, you might get your RV back and it's been 6 months. So really pay attention to the owners group, pay attention to the dealers, and try to get in that inside groove where, people really work to service full-timers. We've managed to do that with both Cedar Creek, which was our first RV, and Forest River, or not Forest River, but Forest River, Cedar Creek.
Yeah.
So DRV, which is our second one, and we do a lot of the work ourselves. And a lot of times we get advice from the owners groups, and a lot of times we just YouTube the crap and we figure it out. So be handy, really be handy. That's one of our biggest tips is don't be afraid to do it yourself because you oftentimes do a better job than the RV repairman. And you'll do it in a more timely manner than the RV repairman. What else you got?
You said it all. Be handy.
Flexibility. The other thing is flexible.
Yeah, I think that's the overarching thing.
Yeah. If you're a full-timer, you really need to be flexible.
Yeah.
You're going to run into situations where you weren't able to get on the road when you thought you wanted to, or something's going to happen on the way there, or your reservation's going to fall through, or you're not going to be able to get to where you wanted to go, so you're going to have to find an alternative place to go. Or like we ended up last week, you're going to get kicked out of the RV park that you're in because something happened and they didn't like your rig, and you're going to have to move, and you're just going to have to be flexible. That's really, if you're okay with being flexible and making your plans in sand or making your plans in jello, as some people say.
Jello.
Yeah. It really goes a long ways, and just be able to roll with the punches, because the punches are going to happen.
Yeah.
I really hate to sound negative about this whole thing, which is kind of the way we sound, but you
I don't
just
think
need
we
to
sound
be
negative. We
super
just
flexible.
keeping it real, because a lot of people out here on these YouTube channels, travel channels, RVing people, they show you all the fun stuff, but we just keeping it real.
Yeah, you just need to be flexible.
And I think flexible is not a negative thing. That's a positive thing, because if you anticipate, not that you need to look for the doom and gloom, but just be flexible. It's something you never know. You never know.
You never know.
Next.
Yeah, and we actually ended up when we had to move from the county park to another place, we ended up in a nice RV park, and it worked out well for us. And we stayed there for a couple days, and we finished our trip down here at Key West. So there was no disaster. It was just stuff happened and we had to move.
Oh, we know, we're too big.
Yep.
I don't want to change our setup, but we big. So we've been with this for over almost 2 years, a year and a half, and that's like maybe the second time we had an issue with being the size that we are. So twice.
Choices you make, we could be, an F-250 and a 30-foot Airstream and fit everywhere.
Yeah.
However, I ain't living in an Airstream. Sorry, if you're an Airstream camper, that's not us.
Yeah.
I can't do that. It's too short and no slides. But on the flip side, you get to fit just about everywhere. We ran into somebody here in Key West that was running a transit van, and they literally fit everywhere because they're a van.
Yep. So.
But I'm not living in a transit van. I'm sorry, not happening. So we like our big stuff. In fact, we were paddleboarding today because we had paddle boards with us, and I scuba dive because I have scuba dive equipment with us, and we have skis and all the stuff that goes along with skis.
Skates.
And we ski, and Candace is into roller skating, so we roller skate, and
I got roller skates and roller blades.
Yeah, we do that, and we've got bikes with us, and we've got all kinds of stuff with us because we have a whole bunch of interest.
Yep.
And as a result, we carry a whole bunch of stuff with us because we have no home to put it in.
Yeah.
We carry everything that we want to use in a given year with us.
Yep.
So
Okay.
that lends to us being big. So yeah, Candace wants to move on.
Yeah, it's because Jeff talk a lot. I do too, but I know we don't want this video to be long because we want y'all to stay to the end, through the whole thing.
Owners group.
Well,
so
14 minutes.
Join your owners group. So if you own a DRV, join every DRV owners groups out there. If you own a Tiffin motorhome, join every Tiffin motorhome owners group out there on Facebook, on the forums, wherever they're at. If you own a Newmar motorhome, join the Newmar motorhome owner groups. And if you're interested in any of these, join them, because what'll happen is you'll learn about the common issues and the general overall owner perception, but you'll also tap into this great, huge wealth of knowledge. And if you're interested in buying one of these, join the owners groups before you buy it, and then join the owners group.
But can you get in when you don't actually own it? Okay.
I'm a member of Tiffin, Newmar, New Horizons. Every RV that I've been interested in, I've joined the owners groups, because what'll happen is you'll join the owners group and say, hey, Newmar owners groups, tell me what's great and what's bad about Newmar motorhomes. Well, odds are everybody that spent $300,000 to $500,000 on a motorhome, they're not going to sit there and say, well, this thing sucks and this is what went wrong with it. So you'll never get that feedback from it. But what'll happen is over time, as you're in that owners group, somebody will post up and say, hey, you know what? This such and such thing broke in my Newmar, or this such and such thing broke in my Tiffin, or my DRV, or my Cedar Creek. And after 6 months, you'll see a trend of things that break in those things on a common, regular basis. And you'll be like, okay, so if I buy this motorhome or this trailer or this travel trailer, this is what I need to expect. So I highly recommend you join the owners group, both for the information and the knowledge that's in there if you buy, but also as the part of the research, because you'll see over time what the owners complain about their RVs. And there's no such thing as a perfect RV. Nothing. Not even a $500,000, not even $1 million RV. None of them are perfect.
Yeah.
They're all going to have issues. So pay attention to the owners group so you can see what type of issues there are. As you can see, we like our DRV, but we look at, well, I say we, but it's really me. Yeah. I look at New Horizons. I look at the motorhomes, mostly Tiffin and Newmar and some American Coach motorhomes. I look at all of them and I follow all of them so I can see what trends there are in those coaches, trailers, and so on. Join the owners group and benefit from the information they have. What you think?
Take a breath, baby.
A lot of talking.
Yeah.
The next note I have, and it's kind of what we've been saying the whole time, be ready for everything. Stuff happens, right? You'll be trucking down the road and a tire's gonna blow out. And when that tire blows out, it's happened to us a couple times. Fortunately, the last time it happened, it didn't do any real damage to the trailer, so we were able to just throw the spare on and move on. But afterwards, we went to a shop to get an alignment because our tires were wearing weird, and the shop ran our trailer into another trailer on the lot and damaged our trailer. Yep. And this is just the kind of stuff that you got to be ready and willing to deal with. You'll be trucking along down the road and you pull into a site like we are right now, and for some reason, part of our transfer switch chain of transfer switches that allows our solar to work to our whole coach, the relay's not working, and you got to manually engage the relay. And it took a minute to figure that out. And once you manually engage it, everything works perfectly. And it's on the list to replace, so we haven't really spent a whole lot of time or energy dealing with it, but it's, you know, stuff happens, and you need to be able to figure out how stuff happens and fix it on your own. What else?
You said it all, babe. You said it all.
One of the other notes down at the bottom that goes along with what we just said, be handy or be rich. There's your two options.
Yeah, I said that in the beginning.
You either figure it out or you spend a lot of money for somebody else to figure it out.
Yeah.
And if you want to figure it out tomorrow so that you have AC, well, you figure it out tomorrow and you pay somebody a lot of money to figure it out for you, or you figure it out yourself. The last thing, and this is purely specific to us because we've spent a lot of money on solar, is that if you're getting into full timing and you want a boondock and you're like, oh my God, solar is the best thing ever because that's what everybody says, just know that solar is really expensive, and 9 times out of 10, it won't run your AC. So if you think that solar is going to be the end all be all for you, know that it's not going to be, and that you're better off to buy a generator and some gas and run off the generator, which can run your AC. Yeah. And figure life out that way first. And then if you want to go to solar so you can avoid the generator run, then move to solar. But it's an expensive proposition. And again, that's, you know, I say that because it's one of the things we've done. We spent a lot of money on solar, and we still carry a generator, and we still run a generator quite often because we are not part of the 70-degree club. And the 70-degree club is the people that travel to make sure they're in the 70s all the time. At the moment, we kind of have it flipped backwards. We're in the 90 to 100s in the summer and the 0 to 30s in the winter because we like skiing and we like the beach and we like diving. So that's kind of where we've settled right now. Maybe one of these days we'll get it right, but for now that's where we're at.
Jinx.
Yeah. What else you got for everybody on our 5th year anniversary? Did you ever think when we sat down and said, you know what, we don't need to buy a house, did you ever think that we'd be still doing this 5 years into it?
I don't think so. I mean, I really never thought about it in a way, but it's crazy that it's been 5 years, like almost half of a decade.
Yeah.
Not almost, it is half of a decade.
Yes,
we've been doing this for 5 years. And like, I'm always like, well, I feel like we got so much we still want to do before we settle down. So it's just been a cool experience, because how else in the world would you be able to be location independent? Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Location independent be in multiple places where you like, be able to visit family. Although we can't just go. It takes a little time.
Yeah, it requires a little bit of planning.
There's no other way to do this unless you really, and work, because we still work, which would be wonderful if we didn't, but that's just not the story,
case right now.
the case right now. It's been a great experience. I love it, and we're still doing it. I wouldn't change. I don't think I have any regrets.
No.
After the 5 years, like I said, just to circle back to a closeout, for me is just to be open, be flexible. It ain't always going to be easy. But then there's the times where it's great, where you're in locations like this, whether you can be in a military park or you can be down here in Key West because there's parks around. Be able to spend a month, like, what? My thing to wrap it up is to say, if this is on your mind and you can be remote with your work or you're close to having all the kids out of the house, do it. Do it. Even if it's 5 years, like if we went to a house tomorrow, I would be just fine because we took a chance on this lifestyle and it's been pretty great.
Yeah, even if we to be honest, we've been looking at real estate. We want to buy a house. However, we want to buy a house that we probably will spend 3 or 4 months a year in and Airbnb it out or VRBO it out.
And that's a video for another time,
somebody else while we travel, because this is the only lifestyle I know of that allows you to live for a month in Key West, 2.5 months in Pensacola, a month in Michigan, 2 months in Colorado, and 3 months in Utah.
Well, 4. It ended up being almost 4 for this upcoming.
A month in San Diego. You get to live all kinds of places and not just do the touristy vacation crap, but you actually get to live there. And that's one of the biggest benefits of this lifestyle, this full-time lifestyle, is that here we've been in Key West for 3 days and we feel no pressure to go do all the tourist stuff in 3 days because guess what? We've got another 3 weeks here. 3.5 weeks here. And we'll get to, spread it out and do our time and go one or two events a week and be able to do that stuff. And that's how we travel everywhere we go. We get to take our time and enjoy actually living there. So I recommend it. If you can get to a point in your life where you're remote working or independently wealthy, where you can run your business from the road, this is a great way to live. Any final thoughts?
Happy 5 years to us.
Yeah.
And maybe another, I don't know, maybe another 5.
As I said this morning, we were talking about it this morning, and we're looking at having rough, loose idea of travel plans for 2 more years. So that'll put us to 7, which will turn into 10, which will turn into 15.
We'll see about that. But anyway,
we'll see how it goes.
If you got any questions or anything, let us know in the comments, so we can turn those questions into video, into vlogs, into Q&As or what have you. Because we will keep it real with you, give you the pros and the cons to whatever question or topic you want to hear more about for the RVing situation. That's fine.
We're big fans of not blowing smoke up anybody's butt. We will tell you the real truth. We'll tell you the great things about full-time RVing, and we'll tell you the things that are going to suck about full-time RVing, because there are some. There's been moments in these 5 years that I've thrown stuff down and said, F it, I'm done. We need to buy a house tomorrow. I don't want to do this anymore. And then you recover and you move on with life, and it turns out good after all. So
all right. That's that.
Like, subscribe, do all the social media crap.
You said it so not enthusiastically. Y'all, please show us some love. Like, comment, sub, and drop us a comment. Help us get into the algorithm, right? And so we get pushed out there, so more people can find us on the tubes and on the social media networks. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in another video.